the first card you have for your past is the Ten of Wands. So yeah, obviously this is the burden card. Yeah, I'm actually seeing quite a bit of a confusing situation actually. This is a love situation I'm seeing, or I should say it was a love situation. It's not now. This is very strange because I'm seeing something that was a bit one-sided for a long time, this relationship. It could have been you that was doing all the chasing, making all the decisions, taking the initiative to do everything, all of that kind of thing. And I think you have moved on from this, or you did at this time. Maybe it took you a long time to actually get over this. I think it did take you a very long time to try to get over things. But then, I think things could have swung back the other way, if that makes sense. I know this will probably sound a bit strange, but it's like when you did finally move on, they were thinking about you. They were thinking about you after this. So I don't know if you realized that they were thinking about you or what was happening, but you were definitely on their mind. You are. And I think they always thought that you'd be there, like a kind of a safety net. And they might not have even contacted you when they were thinking about you, but they really did miss having you there. Or I should say they missed having that there. They missed having that safety net there. They missed having someone who was always there for them. But for you at this time, it was like it was a heavy load, and it was a really heavy load always being there for them, especially when you felt that they weren't doing the same for you. You felt that you were kind of carrying this great big burden, doing everything, thinking for them, everything like that, and they just weren't even thinking about doing anything anywhere near that for you. And I know this is over and this is kind of all in the past, but I'm still seeing some confusion around this. It's like they were a confused person. They were confused about what they wanted. Maybe they still are confused about what they want. And you carried a mental burden, and you carried an emotional burden when you were with this person. But when it was finally over, they had the burden of realizing that their safety net wasn't there for them anymore. And that's what I'm picking up on. It was like they didn't feel that sense of safety anymore. It was like a rug was pulled from under them or something, and they just felt like, oh, I'm really vulnerable. That's what I'm feeling around them. That's what they kind of missed, that kind of sense of safety, knowing that you were always going to be there, and you weren't always there, they found out in the end. So the next card you have for your past is the Four of Cups. So yes, I don't think they realized at all what they had. They really did not realize what they actually had until it was too late. And I'm getting this feeling that, they might have felt that it was too late before it actually was too late, if that makes sense. Because I think, there were times where you would have taken them back actually early on in the early days. Probably not now, most probably not now at all, not anymore. It would take a really big lot for this connection to ever happen again. I think they'd have to turn into a completely different person. And I think, even though I was seeing you doing most of the work in this relationship, there was also some stubbornness here. There was stubbornness, I think, on both sides actually, going on between you at different times. It's like one person would be stubborn, and then the other person would say, well, or to themselves, they'd say, oh, well, I'll let them feel what that feels like. I felt like that, let them feel what that feels like. And they did that, then you did it, and it kind of went backwards and forwards. That's what I'm seeing happened a few times. So it was going on both sides. And there were a lot of problems. So the last card you have for your past is the Knight of Pentacles. So yes, the Knight of Pentacles, he's stable, he's reliable, he's sensible, he's not going anywhere. He's a bit boring actually sometimes. But after what you've been through with this person, you really craved this reliability. You really wanted this. You wanted someone who you could depend on, not someone who always depended on you and kind of hung around letting you do all the thinking for them. You might have been looking at some of your friends' relationships, maybe some people around you were seeing, maybe you're watching couples around you, and you could have been thinking things like, why can't I find someone reliable? This person has someone reliable, this one does. What about me? What about me? And, don't be angry, but maybe that's what seemed attractive to you on paper, someone who's reliable, but in real life you might not have found these things so attractive. You might have found reliable types to be, as I say, like the Knight of Pentacles, a bit boring. But I think it was a good thing that you were taking your time to kind of think about this, think about why you're attracting certain people to you and why you put up with this person for so long. I mean, I think this was a really good thing, actually examining yourself. And if this resonates, I'm really glad that's what you were doing. Not a lot of people do that. A lot of people just jump in and out from one relationship to another one, or they kind of get really busy and run around, and they don't actually stop and think, what went wrong in that relationship? What can I do next time? What can I do better in my next relationship? What can I do? Who can I choose that would be better than that for this reason? I was happy with that, so I'm happy with that, but I wasn't happy with that bit. So I need to think about what I'll accept next time, and also how I'm going to act with other people. You might have been thinking about your stubbornness and how that affected things as well. So the first card you have for your present is Temperance. And so yes, if you're still single and you're still looking for someone at this time, you probably really want, what you really want realistically is, you don't want one or the other extreme. You want a balance. You want something in between these two types, these kind of crazy, unreliable types and these kind of stable, a bit more boring types. You want something in between that. The Temperance card can be about balance, and it can also be about alchemy, blending elements to make one not so good situation into a kind of a different and a better situation. That's why this is one of my favorite cards. I absolutely love turning a bad situation into a better one, just by thinking, just by using your mind and kind of using what it comes out with to do that. I love that kind of thing. So yeah, getting back into balance and improving your situation, doing these things, they just take time, really. They just take time and patience. So you could still be going through this process of kind of examining yourself, thinking about what kind of person you're attracted to versus the kind of person you actually want to be attracted to, or you want to be attracted to you. And this takes a lot of emotional awareness. It takes a lot of spiritual awareness as well. This beautiful angel here, so you might want to meditate if this is something you do, but definitely make sure you're getting some quiet time to yourself, because I think this is kind of an emotional journey or an emotional kind of process, but it's a spiritual one as well, definitely for you. So the next card you have for your present is Death. So yes, you're changing, you're evolving, you're changing internally, and you're spiritually changing, as I was seeing, emotionally changing. And what happens on the inside, the spiritual and this emotional process that you're going through, is extremely important. It can be painful, but you're definitely growing. To be able to grow, sometimes something or someone needs to be cut off, especially when it comes to the Death card. The Death card can be about closing the old door, opening a new door, or something kind of a phoenix rising from the ashes, something fantastic rising from something really sad. So there might actually be someone who you feel not so good around, actually. I'm seeing someone who gives you a kind of a bad feeling, actually, a bit of a low feeling. And they might be connected to this ex in some way. I'm seeing they might be a friend or a relative, a mutual friend of yours, but they're still kind of talking to you at this time. So if this resonates, at least distance yourself from this person. I'm just getting this really down feeling, this really low feeling. It might not even be the fact that they're connected to your ex that's the problem. It's just the way that you feel when you're around this person, or after you've been around them. It kind of lingers around for a long time, this kind of horrible feeling. So try to let go of this person if you can, and of course you can. I just think that, if you feel like this around someone, your instincts are telling you something. You really don't need this person around you. It sounds cruel. It sounds like I'm saying cut them off, but you don't have to do that. You can just go about this gradually. You can do it in a kind way. But you don't need that kind of negativity around you. That's what I'm seeing. So the last card you have for your present is the Six of Wands. So yes, this is the victory card. This is kind of positive outcomes, people supporting you, cheering you on, doing something, getting an award. It can mean all these kinds of things. I'm actually seeing waiting in this card, but I'm seeing that, you're waiting for some kind of certificate, or maybe a license or something like that. This is something that you've worked really hard for, or you've really studied for a long time. You've definitely put all the work into this. So whatever this is, I think this result is going to come in, but it's going to be a little bit delayed, or it's going to be held up or something like that. But yes, this is going to happen. This is going to come in. It's going to be a bit late, but it's going to come in. And I'm seeing a positive result coming in for you as well. I'm seeing a celebration. I'm not seeing a huge party or anything like that, but it's going to be people around you supporting you, being happy for you. This is going to open up a whole new lot of opportunities for you, which are going to really, really add to your confidence and your inner growth. And it's going to be fantastic for you. Fantastic. The first card you have for your future is the Ace of Swords. So yeah, I think, trying to separate yourself from this person in the Death card, I think this might be a little bit difficult for you. I think you might have to be really direct with them, actually. This card can be about being really clear, clarity, cutting through anything that isn't straightforward. I don't think this person takes hints very seriously, very well, but maybe before this time, I think, before you started on this process, this spiritual process, I think you really didn't have the confidence or even the energy to tackle the situation properly. They were still around you, but you weren't feeling happy, and you felt like you couldn't do much about it. But again, I can't tell whether they're doing this on purpose or not, but if someone makes you feel this bad about yourself, or just bad generally, they're really not someone you need to have around you. That's what I'm seeing. So, I think you are going to have to speak to them in a direct way, but in a polite way, obviously, not a horrible way. But no matter what happens, I think, whether they listen to you or not, I think they are going to leave eventually, because the Death card, you've got the Death card, and I was seeing them leaving in that card. So the Death card is inevitable, so it will happen in some way or another. They are going to leave you alone. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have for your future is the Lovers. Yes, this is a really nice card. I see a lot of different things in this card. But this time I am actually seeing love. I am seeing love in the Lovers card. I don't see that very often. It's very strange. So I'm seeing somebody who you've been talking to for a while, and they might be really attracted to you. You might have just started talking to them, but you've been talking to them, and you're still going to be talking to them. So you might not even notice that this person is thinking of you in this way, because I think, you're probably still going to be focused on this process, this spiritual process. And look at the woman on this card. She's looking up to the angel, even though the man's looking over at her. So you were looking to spiritual things, but they were looking over at you. That's what I'm seeing, or they are going to. This is in your future, I'm sorry. So yeah, you're going to have a lot of conversations with this person. And in the beginning, I think you might just see this as having friendly conversations with someone you get along with. But eventually, I think you're going to see this as an attraction. And I think you might gradually, very slowly, become attracted to them. This person's actually really, really easy to get along with. And I think, your conversations are really easy. They're really relaxed. And, I'm just getting a really, really nice, easy, relaxed feeling around this. It's really nice. And that's the kind of relationship you want. You don't want all this angsty stuff. You don't want drama. You you just want a really nice, relaxed, easing into things. You're already friends, and then you become lovers, and it's really, really nice. There's no drama, nothing like that. So the last card you have for your future is the Page of Cups. So yes, love messages, all of that with the Page of Cups again. I'm seeing this person again in the Lovers card. I think, they might be making you laugh too. You do really, really enjoy being around this person, and again, I think it'll probably take you a bit longer to be able to see them as more than just a friend, but you will see this eventually, I think. When you've reached the right point in this spiritual process, I think this will be the right time for you to see this. Raphael, the angel in the Lovers card, is blessing this connection. Look at that. Look how he's blessing that. So, yeah, this is a blessed connection. It's being blessed. So you'll see this for what it is when the time is right for you. I think things are brought to you at the right time. And yeah, when the right time is there for you to open up to love, that's when this beautiful friendship is going to open up into full-on love for you. That's what I'm seeing there.